You know, when I released the CB1000F review, I expected people to comment on the engine, the styling, or even my accent in English. But instead, the comments section turned into something that I absolutely didn't see coming. Compare it to the Z900RS, do the Z900RS version. Bro, forget everything else about your life, ride the Z900RS. So, after the CB1000F video took off, I thought, alright, message received. So today we are finally putting Kawasaki's golden child under the microscope. And yes, I know, before you even ask, I will compare it to Honda's CB1000F. But before we get to the comparison everyone is waiting for, we need to talk about Kawasaki's philosophy with this thing. They are not just selling a bike. They are selling nostalgia injected straight into your eyeballs. Kawasaki said in their presentation material, it follows no trends. Wait, saying it follows no trends while selling a neo-retro? That's like saying, I don't listen to mainstream music while blasting Taylor Swift. The neo-retro segment is the trend, but interestingly enough, each Japanese brand of the Big Four approaches it differently. Honda's neo-retros, for example, tend to lean more into the neo than the retro. Look at the CB1000F, mode selectors, TFT display, phone connectivity, wrapped in a styling that feels nostalgic. Meanwhile, Kawasaki went the opposite way. They commit to the retro look, the tank, the stance, the colors, while making the platform itself fully modern. The Z1 inspired tank, the colors, the badges, all engineered to poke your nostalgia neurons, even if you were not alive in the 70s, and I certainly wasn't. But the funny part is this, while the bike looks like it wants to take you back in time, the riding experience launches you straight into the modern day era. Kawasaki engineered a true retro modern bike, and they did well, really well. No, under all that retro styling, the Z900RS SE is powered by Kawasaki's 940cc inline-4, the same base engine from the Z900, but tuned differently. It makes around 111 horsepower and 98 Nm of torque, which is more than enough to lose your license before you can even say, I wasn't speeding, officer. Kawasaki softened the top end and fattened the mid-range, so you get an engine that is extremely flexible while being punchy in the lower revs. No, this specific SE version is where Kawasaki decided to flex a little. You get the gorgeous gold all-ins rear suspension that uses a pressurized nitrogen chamber to keep damping consistent. I got no idea what it actually means, but it sounds so cool. You get Brembo front calipers and a paint scheme that looks like it escaped from a museum but still fits perfectly in this lovely Belgium autumnal weather. So this review will absolutely compare the Z900RS to Honda's CB1000F. Both bikes are carrying the legacy of their respective brand. But enough with the spreadsheet talk, let's explore what it's like to ride the Z900RS SE and, more importantly, whether this bike really lives up to Kawasaki's promise or if it's just a good marketing stunt wrapped in gold paint. Let's get it!
What's up everyone, back on the Z900RS SE. Yes, you have asked for it and here I am, jumped right on it. And I have to say, I didn't expect that so many people would be recommending this bike. A lot of people have asked me to compare this motorbike with the CB1000F, and my very first impression when you sit on it is that the seating position is a little bit less straight. Although some people say it would be straight, I have to say compared to the CB1000F, this is a little bit less straight. I can lean more easily forward and adopt a more aggressive seating position. So I think there's a difference on that level. This suspension is really good in terms of feeling how the bike is behaving on the road, how well it is connected. I really enjoy that. While the CB1000F and this Kawasaki Z900RS share the same neo-retro philosophy, I feel like this can be much more aggressive than the CB1000F can be with the stock settings for the suspension. I really like it. Oh, this is sweet. This is sweet. This is pretty. This is really nice. Ah, it's so enjoyable, this engine. Let's go! Yahoo! Thank God for inventing motorbikes. Oh, damn! That was quite something. The acceleration is really on point. The suspension of this Kawasaki Z900RS SE is by default much stiffer than the one on the CB1000F. It comes back very firmly. I really enjoy it. Ah, the sound. This sound. 4-in-line. Nice exhaust. This is, by the way, the stock exhaust, but I really like the sound it makes. And the bike is quite reactive. Woohoo! Oh, it's really enjoyable. You're losing a little bit on a few tiny details. Like, for example, on the CB1000F, the handling felt a little bit lighter. This bike feels a little bit heavier than the CB1000F. It's interesting because I don't have the numbers in terms of kilos in head, so I can only base this impression on my feeling. And in terms of feeling, this bike is a little bit... it doesn't feel as light to handle as the Honda CB1000F. Yeah. Really enjoying this. This feels a little bit more playful than the CB1000F, which I like. I like the traction control. It's a little bit slippery today, and I could feel it activate. Very safe, very good job. I'm glad I didn't turn it off. Thank you, Kawasaki. I must say, if I had to choose based on those first impressions between the CB1000F and this bike, I would probably lean a little bit more towards this Kawasaki. And I never had a Kawasaki. Look, I know I complained a lot about the CB1000F suspension by stock settings. Let me clarify that. I know you can adjust it. But by stock, this suspension on this bike makes me feel more emotions than the CB1000F. That doesn't mean it's a better bike. It just means that it's more to my liking, the way it's set by default. Whenever I brake, this bike jumps less forward than what the CB was doing. Brakes are really good, by the way. I know this is the Brembo SE edition. You get a lot of granularity on the braking, but I think the CB1000F also had good brakes, so they're probably even on that regard. There is some form of purity and beauty in this engine that I really like. No mode selection, nothing, just you and the motorbike. It feels simple. The dashboard, no complicated stuff, no cruise control. I was surprised to see people asking me if there was a cruise control on CB1000F. I didn't think bikers liked cruise control. I must be in the minority to not care about the cruise control. But anyway, this Kawasaki doesn't have the cruise control, just like the CB1000F. It has anti-slippery assistance, adjustable suspensions. Well, a lot of motorbikes have that nowadays. And yeah, not much more to it. And frankly, it's for the best. Yeah, very sane behavior on the road. Easy to handle. Once again, the CB1000F was probably a little bit easier to handle. On this bike, I feel like I need to be a little bit more cautious with what I'm doing compared to the CB1000F. Not at all a bad point, at least in my opinion. But still, I want to note that the throttle response is very direct, I noticed. Like, it reacts even faster than the engine of the CB1000F, or maybe it's a matter of tuning. But it's very interesting to note because Honda claimed that they improved the response lower in revs, but this bike has a stronger response to the throttle low in the revs. It's very hard for me to know which one I would own or I would buy if I had the choice between those two. I really like the purity of the design with the twin clock stuff and the lack of fancy screens or or gigantic bezel screen like on the CB1000F. But in the same time, it's nice to have the GPS included on the dashboard like on the CB1000F. So I guess while they are both neo-retros, the philosophy behind their design is a little bit different. And it feels much more playful and twitchy than the CB1000F. Which is frankly more to my liking. I've been riding with this motorbike for a little while now, and I really like it. Honestly, don't know if I would see myself buying it, but the combination of its beautiful aesthetics and engine, which frankly is a lot of fun, make me think that yeah, this could possibly be a good choice for someone who wants to enjoy this type of aesthetics, this type of design, derived a little bit from the 70s, I believe, while having plenty of power. This is really excellent in terms of power. If you want something a little bit safer, I would say go for the CB1000F. The fact that it's a little bit twitchy in terms of throttle response and the engine itself make me think that if you just want something to cruise on a Sunday morning without overthinking it, the CB1000F is probably a safer choice for you. Sayonara! I really like this bike. I like it, I'm gonna be honest, I like it a little bit more than the CB1000F, and once again, it's only my opinion. I can lean a little bit more forward, I like that. The suspensions are a little bit stiffer by default, also very enjoyable. Yeah, overall, I really like what the Z900RS has to offer. It's definitely a super great bike. An excellent bike. There is a little bit of aggressivity in this bike that I didn't find on the CB1000F, even in sports mode. I really like that the first and second gear are quite short. I'm really nitpicking here, but my legs feel a little bit more cramped than on the CB1000F. And once again, you cannot have everything, but I'm 177 centimeters tall. And yeah, you're losing a little bit of the comfort that you had on the CB1000F on this bike. This engine really is quite something. Ooh. Okay. I really like the power delivery. Really like this engine. It is smooth, but powerful. I have to say, it's really a tie between the CB1000F engine and this one. It feels less light than the CB1000F to handle, but don't get mistaken, this is very agile and sharp. You can really guide it wherever you want. I am really glad that people insisted on me trying this motorbike after trying the CB1000F, because what I can tell is, despite them both being neo-retro models, they don't aim the same public, definitely. Like, this has a little bit more of a touch of aggressivity in its philosophy, both in the engine, the suspension, everything is a little bit sharper and at the cost of comfort, I might say, because the seat itself is decently comfortable, but I didn't get the feeling of cruiser that I got on the CB1000F. So I think you really have to consider those aspects. What do you want from a motorbike, especially a big bike like those ones? What do you value the most? It feels a little bit premium to be sitting on this bike, and at least on the looks, it gives that premium impression. But when I touched those dials, it felt like plastic, not glass. something I'm not really a big fan of, but at least it makes the illusion. This is really a great neo-retro motorbike. This is a little bit more shaky than the CB1000F, just a little bit at a high speed. The CB1000F felt more on track than this motorbike. Okay, it's starting to rain. Why is it always raining when I'm trying a motorbike in Belgium? Seriously. As you already know, I am from Belgium and my family lives here. I just wanted to visit them, and it happens very casually or fortunately that I have a friend who owns the specific bike that everyone asked me to try. So here I am trying under these rough conditions this motorbike. I have been riding this motorbike for quite a while now, and yeah, maybe I can miss a little bit the CB1000F straight position in those circumstances. Like my royal butt is getting a little bit sore. I thought it was comfortable at first impression on this motorbike, but now my ass is starting to be a little bit numb. I think you can't go wrong with either the CB1000F or this Z900. So honestly, I think you're gonna be happy. It has two wheels, it has an engine. What else do you want? Once again, more and more people are supporting me in the videos. I have more and more views and such. Excellent comments from a lot of people. It's really heartwarming. I really appreciate seeing that. It takes a lot of time to edit the content, to film it. I have to make reservations. So honestly, thank you so much to everyone who are watching, sharing, liking, commenting, and what else. So thank you a lot. I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you around.